Welcome to another edition of XFeed. My name is Schiller. Monday through Friday, we go talk about various headlines. Yesterday, we did a whole recap of things that we saw on the timeline from ApeFest. I hope you guys enjoyed that and be sure to check it out if you haven't. But today, a little bit about the NBA, talking about Top Shot and what they did for everybody that had an NBA ID. They're trying to onboard the masses. That's what it's about. Now, the title of the stream as well, the opportunity cost. This was a phrase saying that everybody had all the time for everything a while back when the markets were doing market things. And I think we're at a point where there is so much going on that we are going to continuously see people bring up opportunity cost throughout every ecosystem. And I've been seeing through everything that I follow, there's a very large amount of the exact same thing happening from ecosystem to ecosystem to ecosystem. And if you want me to be more specific about it, it's about leaving or entering an ecosystem where everybody who's diehard believers of whatever collection it may be, and we'll get into something specific regarding Gala nodes because that was something that I've been paying attention to a little bit more since they started making them transferable. But I'm like, damn, you go into a whole bunch of discords of collections you used to follow, used to hold, and it's the exact same verbiage everywhere. And people are saying, if people want to leave, let them leave. But opportunity cost is going to be the thing that gets brought up more than anything else. So get ready for that. All right, Jacob Eisenberg from NBA Top Shot highlighting that the NBA season is almost here. Now, of course, this was the other day. But this is actually pretty big news. NBA season is almost here as an exclusive perk for millions of NBA ID members globally. Fans can claim a complimentary Top Shot pack in the NBA app or on NBA.com. Don't miss a special offer, unlock your pack, and celebrate. Okay, woo, we're celebrating. But like, to be real for a second, how in the world did that just happen? Is this something where you needed to wait until NBA said, okay, yep, we're ready, the product's good, try to push it? Well, that doesn't really make sense because NBA's backed other components of it. You've seen Top Shot activations at certain points. But it is pretty big going into the season, and if you're enjoying the games tonight, hell yeah, enjoy it. So this is from Burnt Toast, who's the artist of Doodles, and these are some of the characters from the Dullsville part of Dullsville and the Doodleverse. And I just want to ask a simple question of, when you look at these, would you be like, yes, this is something I absolutely would get into back in the day. I think they're cool, and I would buy an NFT collection from that. Now, obviously, the idea that it's supposed to be dull, right? So it's not vibrant by any means, but do you like the artistic style? Because this is kind of, food for thought to look at it, where this has become a huge hit. Drifter, after almost 7 years, the day has finally come where the buildings I've photographed illegally are now buying the photos I take. Look at how the universe works. So Drifter Shoots has been a photographer that has NFT-ified a lot of their works, as you can see here. Very dangerous places, the daredevils, if you will, out to take photos of landscapes, of buildings, of cities in places that are very hard to reach and also kind of crazy to think about. Probably got in trouble at various points, but I guess he's just highlighting that people are out there buying the imagery, which is cool. Which, I mean, obviously there was before as like art collectors and whatnot, but now I guess the buildings are out there wanting to showcase some of the goods. Now, speaking of the goods, what were the prices a year ago? What inflation dude was? NFT prices 1 year ago from Pix on Chain. So, and this is from October 17th, but when you're looking at some of the ones that are up the most, PyPenguins up 9 ETH. Well, sorry, not necessarily 9 ETH, but they're at 9 ETH compared to when previously they were at 4.93. So it's more like they're kind of up like 3-4 ETH, give or take. Azuki up just about an ETH. BAYC down pretty tremendously, not gonna lie, pretty down bad. Milady's doing all right. Doodles up a little bit as well. Sappy Seals, funny enough, actually at exactly the same price point as before. Sproto's Captain's actually down. Sproto's up actually a whole lot, and this is, I believe, a part of like a meme coin experiment, if you will. Mad Lads on Soul down a little bit, but like looking at all these different collections again, like, do you Or have you seen any of them do something that you're like, yeah, that is something that I really like. That's something that I want to buy into. Not necessarily just from the higher expensive NFT side, but just from a merch drop, from liking what they're producing. Or do you still feel, hey, you know, if I didn't get on that original mint, I still don't necessarily care about that brand? And so on that same train of thought, I saw this comment from JJ the other day, and it was a response to a post from Matt Bartlett that was talking about like the attention in Web3. And JJ said, honestly, nothing. LOL, still making my way back from burnout. And there's a lot of people that are in that camp that were into different collections. We're hoping something would happen within certain ones. Timelines end up changing. Perspectives all kind of change as well. But I still think collectively, we're waiting for the big bang on a lot of different collections, and it's continually building, but almost like when we say like, oh yeah, there's something for everyone within Web3. Is there? I mean, kind of. But I still think that there's a huge audience out there for their attention to be grabbed. So who's going to be out there to grab that attention? And people like paying celebrities. This isn't necessarily Web3 news, but kind of crazy when we're talking about the esports scene and my constant reminiscence of, I really think there's going to be some kind of collaboration between esports in general and the blockchain gaming sector that's going to blow up and be huge. So 40 years ago, Guild Esports paid David Beckham $20 million to be the face of the org. 4 years later, and the entire team has now been sold for $130,000. Now, obviously, this is an experiment of some sort, but damn, just paying a bunch to have somebody as the leading face apparently doesn't make it a guaranteed success. So Adam Hollander was, I guess, buying an inscription, a little bit of Bitcoin NFTs, and I guess he got sniped for it for 0.002 for BTC. All the comments are like, well, that's just how it works on Bitcoin. Some people are highlighting different apps. And it's crazy that we're like, hey, we think some of the technology is great and whatnot, but then if you're not actively on some different networks and you're like, oh, wow, okay, cool. So maybe NFTs on Bitcoin might still have a lot of room to grow. Off the grid, Supervive, and now Project Ethos. Some huge spending dropping on games this past week. Y'all think any of them have staying power? So Jake Lucky is somebody who comments on video games as a whole, and as we've covered extensively on the stream, Off the Grid had a whole bunch of streamers. This is a blockchain game that's on Avalanche. Again, the blockchain components are rather hidden on it. Supervive and Project Ethos are not, but they both did massive campaigns where almost everybody that I followed on Twitch that was a bigger streamer was out playing Supervive. I haven't really seen anything for Project Ethos, but I'm just going to assume, okay, maybe it's a different group, or I haven't gone out and looked for it. But people are out there and they are willing to pay because people think the whole gaming is going to be big, and they're absolutely right. GM at OX David B highlighting that there was a cool cat that was bought for 14 ETH forever ago, and it was actually by Puma, and apparently they still hold it. Still reminiscent of the days when we had collections that purchased NFTs to get that mind share, to interact with those different communities. I still think when you go online, you'll see brands that try to get engagement from people, where I saw like a crypto exchange was, hey, you can win $1,000 in our merch. Send some photos in, participate in this contest. Why do we want merch for like kind of an obsolete exchange? And when I mean obsolete, you know, I mean like how many exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, you know, I mean, do we even want merchandise from those? And those are like the upper echelon. Maybe it's cool if it's small. I'm just like, But when it's these different brands, you can pretty much do anything, and people will be out there wanting to participate. And what's cool with it as well is, I mean, you can have an artist from any of these collections be like, hey, I'll draw something, and instantly people are like, oh my God, this certain thing could have value. This would be a cool collectible either way. And just from a little bit of effort, you have the instant reactions. I'm just saying, Web3 audience built different. 50% mind share for AI. So Miles Ducher, if I'm saying that correctly, has been posting these different graphs that are just highlighting components of crypto. So it's got meme in here, DeFi, GameFi, ETF, Layer 2, Rune, ZK, stablecoin, AI. Apparently AI is just all the rage right now. Slowly picking up. We saw a little bit of Altered State Machine highlighting their new Promptopia the other day. Very excited to see that. But AI apparently leading the mind share. Okay, let's have a rant. Oh, God, let's have a rant. So, Gala. So, Gala is an ecosystem just like any other within crypto. And they've had some pretty outlandish things that have happened where they have a chain, they've sold these nodes, and people earn Gala tokens. They've created a whole bunch of games, one of them even being partnered with The Walking Dead. They've done one called Spider Tanks, and they're basically trying to be, your Web3 gaming hub. But at the same time, they've done some crazy generative art procedures where they've tried selling things for 11 ETH for a single NFT out of like 3,000, and like obvious kind of predatory cash grab antics. Respectfully, of course. And so they finally make the nodes transferable, because before you weren't able to do so, so now you can like buy, sell, trade them. And the way that the marketplace works is this archaic system that you have to so you list as a trade, and then somebody accepts the trade, and then you each have to do different steps to put it through this escrow system where there's a fee. You send the NFT, the other person sends like the fee, and then it kicks back. There's timers with it. They have stars on the different individual profiles to know like who's trustworthy or not. But you have a deal, you set it up, and the expiry is like 3 days. So if you try to do anything, you're completely at the mercy of the other person going through with the transaction. When I haven't seen that in the NFT space, it's all been pretty much automatic. Where you want to buy something, it's instant. I have no idea why they're using this archaic escrow system, and it's just awful. There's been so many things that just no. And it's another one. And it's just ridiculous. All right, Stripe's in talk to acquire Bridge for $1 billion. Apparently the deal's done. If you haven't seen a ton of conversation around it, Stripe is in talks to acquire Bridge for $1 billion. And this was the other day. Obviously it happened. Stripe is in talks to acquire stablecoin platform Bridge for a whopping $1 billion, according to Forbes. The talks are reportedly in advanced stages, although nothing has been finalized. Bridge, co-founded by Coinbase alumni Zach Abrams and Sean Yu, has built an API that helps companies accept stablecoins. The pair raised $58 million from investors like Index Ventures and Sequoia Capital, according to PitchBook. If the deal with Stripe goes through, it would be a huge jump from Bridge's $200 million valuation, as well as being Stripe's largest acquisition to date. Stripe has made it clear that crypto is a huge priority for the company. In July, it enabled crypto purchases in the EU, and earlier this month, Stripe announced a pay with crypto feature that lets merchants accept stablecoins. And so we saw this. Who's the CEO of Stripe, saying stablecoins are room temperature superconductors for financial services. Thanks to stablecoins, businesses around the world will benefit from significant speed, coverage, and cost improvements in the coming years. Stripe is going to build the world's best stablecoin infrastructure, and to that end, we are delighted to welcome stablecoin to Stripe. Not bad. Now, speaking of not bad, the IPs that we like, that we love, getting the mind share and attention. If you're in the trading card world, well, you might like what's going on with PyPenguins. They are now having a trading card game similar to VFriends. I saw Chimpers was doing various cards as well. And they partnered with eBay, and I guess they did some card breaks at a Comic-Con. They had 4,000 people that were there live collecting this, and as I mentioned the other day, when I was selling those VFriend cards, there was somebody out there, and it's a huge community just in their own right. And I asked them, I was like, are you into NFTs? Are you just into cards, like into sports cards? And they're like, I like kind of for the NFTs and whatnot, but like, yeah, no, I'm really into like collecting sports cards. And like, I mean, this person paid like a decent bit for these VFriends, and I'm like, oh, okay, so like, there's an intrigue, even if people aren't significantly into the NFT space, kind of hovering about it. They see something that's more Web2ified, and they're like, okay, I'm down for it. I'm just saying, things are starting to happen, and every time a major collection does this to branch off and it gets traction, even just a little bit, everything's kind of like a slow growth, generally speaking. I think it's something to watch out for. So Pranky, as we highlighted yesterday, traded the Stoke captain, and we're waiting to see what exactly he traded that for. And also in New York, he's got a gallery, and this is where the Project Gray for Doodles. They have some different art pieces and whatnot behind. And this is showing, I guess, some of the earlier renditions from Burnt Toast. So nice to see that just in general. Now, it's not necessarily nice to see, and I'm actually kind of surprised about this. So ApeChain launched, there's all this hype about it, and the NFTs that are being sold on ApeChain right now through Magic Eden, where you can go to Magic Eden and actually utilize ApeChain right now if you're not aware for that. I mean, they have stuff that these were collections that happened forever ago, and they didn't end up going anywhere. But like, Smoke That Dank.eth, what a crazy name, is highlighting that like these things are just stolen artwork from 2022, and people are out there buying this stuff. It's like, what the hell is going on? We have all this excitement. We have the apps and like the NFTs that are first launched on this are like just copies of things, and so people are out there buying like the apes on Ape, which I guess is just kind of like the different background where it's blue. And is this because people are just like painfully bored? Is there actually a thought of like these going up in value? What the hell is the thought around these things? Where now they also, I guess, now have like Ape Rocks, which for 490 Ape, goodness gracious, like that's a lot. But early stages of things. But it just feels weird when there was so much hype about this, and then like the NFTs that drop are just But I guess that's kind of the start of every chain off the top. Captain Zwingli. Remember Farcaster? They raised 180 mil, including 150 mil in May of 24 with $1 billion valuation. On July 1st, Farcaster hit 2 million in cumulative protocol revenue. About 4 months later, communal revenue is only 2.34 million, so barely any increase. It has become nearly non-existent. Per Dune, the protocol has only brought in 10,000 in revenue so far in October. So there's all this conversation around Farcaster, and if you remember Warpcaster, it was something that was built on Farcaster, and it was like a social app, and it was for $5. And so here's what we said at the time. Wanted to do a quick little video about Farcaster. Everybody's talking about it. I'm seeing some people say that, oh, there's these airdrops or opportunities, and a lot of comments under that saying, oh, you need to be active and participate in things. So know that going into it, but I downloaded the app. It's only available on mobile, and it's going to cost $5 in Canada. It was $7. You can end up paying just off your phone if you have Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever it is. Basically, it is a new version of Twitter. So here's a quick shot of me signing up for the first time, and if you want to follow me, it's at Schillerverse, but here's what it looks like. So when you first come in, it asks you what your interests are. Ethereum gaming is what I put. You tell a little bit about yourself, add a profile photo, and there's going to be nothing on your feed to begin, just because you don't follow anybody, but then they do have some trending different topics, nothing too crazy. Don't really recognize the names here, but have seen a lot of people talk about this, and when you check the users, Vitalik Buterin is the first one pushed, but there is your update. Okay, so, I mean, I don't know. At the time, I was like, this is like okay, but it doesn't seem like there's anything that crazy going on with this. But people on the timeline were telling me the narrative of, oh, you got to build on this. Oh, you got to build on this. Don't fade this. This is going to be a big deal. It's like, all right. Has it been? Not yet. But again, as always, it could be. Yo, LP, what's going on? How are we doing? Okay, so Hashmasks. Somebody went and bought a Hashmask for 0.5 ETH. These are one of like the OG collections that were out there, and went to go like check actually on OpenSea, and so it's about $1,312 that individual spent. But you can see from the other price points here that like most of this is going for like around just under like $200. Not many crazy sales. It's got like decent enough volume for what it is, but this was one of like the historic collections of back in the day, created January 2021, and it's gone through like a lot of different things. I owned one at one point. I'm trying to think of like what the height of this was. We're seeing like 0.38 for some of these. A lot of, I mean, like at one point, these were going for 2.2 ETH average, 0.69, 144. So again, hovering about like half an ETH, but the historic conversation is the one you got to have with that. How are you? Yo, you know, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Appreciate you coming on through and dropping that follow. Hope your day's going well. And if you're watching the NBA tonight, hope you're team wins. But yeah, so that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Kind of quick wrap of what's going on. Of course, we got more stuff throughout the week. We have every collection saying the world is about to come. A big, exciting Q4 is supposed to be on the books. And again, the opportunity cost. Everybody is going to be saying that when they see different happenings. We're already seeing market cap tokens that have a market cap of around, $2 to $3 to $4 million that have anything building, that have kind of been forgotten, left for dead by some people's mindset. We're seeing them, we're looking over our shoulder, and we're like, holy smokes, that's up 100% in a day, sometimes even more. It's insanity. It's insanity. And I think people are going to start really starting to slosh around liquidity, whether it be buying, selling, doesn't matter. Things are happening, and that